The diplomatic shuttle's airlock hissed open, and Alex Chen felt his stomach drop as he stepped into the Vulpine hegemony's flagship. Jennifer Wu, the lead xenolinguist, gripped her tablet so hard her knuckles whitened. "Remember," she whispered, adjusting the neural translation chip behind her ear. "The Vulpine concept of social bonds is hierarchical. We need to establish ourselves as equals, not subordinates." Alex nodded, his own translation chip humming faintly as it synchronized with the ship's linguistic database. 3 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity's first contact with the Vulpine hegemony, a spacefaring civilization that had been observing Earth for decades from the edges of the solar system. The corridor stretched before them, its walls lined with bioluminescent panels that pulsed in rhythmic patterns. Alex had studied the reports. The Vulpines were descended from fox-like predators on a planet orbiting Tau Ceti. They stood upright, possessed opposable thumbs, and had developed quantum communication technology centuries before humanity had even invented the transistor. Admiral Kasara emerged from the shadows at the end of the corridor. She was magnificent, russet fur tinged with silver, amber eyes that reflected the bioluminescent glow, and a uniform that seemed to shimmer with embedded circuitry. Her ears twitched as she approached, and Alex's translation chip began processing her vocalizations. "I greet you, humans of Earth," Kasara's voice resonated through the neural interface. "I am Admiral Kasara of the Third Fleet. You have been invited to discuss the parameters of first contact between our civilizations." Jennifer stepped forward, her diplomatic training evident in every movement. "Admiral Kasara, we are honored. I am Jennifer Wu, xenolinguist and cultural liaison. This is Alex Chen, our technical specialist, and my—" The word hung in the air for a microsecond as Jennifer's translation chip processed the Vulpine equivalent of colleague. But something went wrong. Alex saw the exact moment the Admiral's ear-mounted translation device flickered, a barely perceptible strobing of red light against her fur. "My husband," the translation concluded. Alex froze. Jennifer's eyes widened in horror. The Admiral's ears pricked forward, and her tail, which had been swaying in what the briefing materials described as neutral curiosity, suddenly lifted in what could only be described as delighted attention. "Your bonded mate!" Kasara exclaimed, and through the translation chip, Alex could hear layers of meaning he didn't fully understand, something about pack structure, reproductive partnerships, and social standing. "This changes the complexion of our negotiations significantly. A mated pair carries greater authority in decision-making. Please, follow me to the primary conference chamber." Jennifer grabbed Alex's arm, her fingers digging in with urgent pressure. "My chip just crashed and rebooted," she hissed. "Check yours." Alex focused on his neural interface. The diagnostic readout scrolled past his optic nerve. Translation protocol error. Semantic mapping fault. Friendship-partnership hierarchies corrupted, defaulting to nearest social bond equivalent. "Mine, too," he muttered. The chip interpreted friend or colleague as the nearest Vulpine equivalent, which apparently is lifelong reproductive partner, Jennifer finished, her voice strangled. "I read the cultural database. In Vulpine society, professional partnerships between opposite sexes don't exist outside of mated pairs. Their social structure is too rigidly defined." They entered the conference chamber, a vast space with walls that displayed real-time holographic projections of star systems. A table carved from what appeared to be polished asteroid metal dominated the center. Admiral Kasara gestured to 2 seats positioned closely together. "Please, honored mates, be seated. I have ordered refreshments appropriate for bonded pairs. Shared sustenance is traditional during important negotiations." Alex and Jennifer exchanged desperate glances. The mission's success depended on establishing credibility and trust. But correcting the Admiral now, explaining that a fundamental translation error had occurred, would expose the primitiveness of human technology. The Vulpine hegemony might question whether humanity was ready for interstellar relations. "Admiral," Alex began carefully, "there may have been a slight—" Jennifer's hand shot out under the table, gripping his knee in warning. Through their private comm channel, she whispered, "Don't. If we admit our translation technology failed on something this basic, we lose all negotiating power. They'll think we're incompetent. But we're not actually. I know that. You know that. But she doesn't know that. Play along. We'll figure out how to correct this later." Admiral Kasara's ears swiveled toward them, detecting their sub-vocalized conversation despite their attempts at discretion. "Is something troubling you?" Among the Vulpine, mates often communicate in abbreviated formats. It's a sign of deep bonding. Alex felt sweat forming on his palms. "No, Admiral. We were simply coordinating our approach to the negotiations." "Excellent." Kasara's tail swished approvingly. "Then let us begin. The Hegemony Council has authorized me to offer Earth full membership in the Interstellar Compact, provided you can demonstrate social cohesion and diplomatic maturity. The fact that you sent a mated pair rather than unpaired individuals suggests your species understands the importance of stable partnerships in high-stakes negotiations." Jennifer's tablet chimed softly. She glanced at it, and her expression shifted from panic to calculation. "Admiral Kasara, before we proceed, I must ask, in Vulpine culture, what is the significance of mated pairs in diplomatic contexts?" "An astute question," the Admiral replied. "Mated pairs are considered the fundamental unit of decision-making authority. Each mate balances the other's perspective, prevents rash action, and ensures that choices serve long-term stability rather than individual impulse. A diplomat without a mate is seen as incomplete, potentially unstable." Alex felt the weight of her words. Humanity's application to join the Interstellar Compact hung in the balance, and somehow, a glitched translation chip had accidentally given them exactly the credential they needed. Jennifer met his eyes across the table, and in that moment, Alex saw the same calculation running through her mind. They could correct the error and risk humanity's standing, or they could maintain the fiction for the duration of negotiations and deal with the consequences later. "Admiral," Jennifer said smoothly, "Alex and I are honored to represent Earth in these negotiations. As you've noted, our partnership brings balanced perspective to this historic moment." Alex nodded, understanding his role. "We speak with one voice for humanity." Admiral Kasara's ears lifted in what their cultural database identified as profound satisfaction. "Then let us begin forging the bonds that will unite our civilizations. Today, two mates speak for a world. Tomorrow, perhaps our peoples will be as family." As the negotiations commenced, Alex caught Jennifer's eye. Her expression was carefully neutral, but he could read the message clearly. They would explain everything later. For now, they had a species to represent and a future to secure, even if it meant pretending to be something they weren't. The translation chip behind his ear hummed steadily, no longer glitching, but the damage was done. And somehow, improbably, it might just save humanity's chance at the stars. End.